Hello and welcome to another episode of Fully Charged. Now, in the past, it would have been quite normal for me to fly half around the world, drive a new electric car that we haven't seen in this country yet or in Europe, and then fly back. And that was normal. It's no longer the case. What we do now is we ask someone who already lives in that country that's halfway around the world, who already owns one of these cars and drives it every day, to do a review for us. And that's what we've done with this episode about the Tesla Model Y. Now, the person we've asked to do this owns the car, is brilliant at presenting this sort of thing about cars. He knows his cars backwards. His name is Ben Sullins. Now, some of you may have heard of him and seen his stuff on YouTube. Some of you may not. He appeared as a panelist at Fully Charged Live this year in Austin, Texas. He was absolutely brilliant, as you'd expect. And he now does shows about far more than just Tesla. He's kind of expanded his range of interest. But he's really, really good at it. As I said, he owns and drives the Tesla Model Y. He's made this episode for us. And so I don't want to say anything more. I want to hand over to him. So over to you, Ben.
Thanks, Robert, and I'm well chuffed to be hosting Fully Charged today, and I'm really excited to bring you all the Tesla Model Y. Along with the Tesla Model Y, I brought my Tesla Model 3 because the chief designer at Tesla, Franz von Holzhausen, an absolute ledge, has said that they share about 75% of the same parts. And so since this car, the Model 3, exists in Europe already, I thought it would just be good for comparison to give everyone a sense of the difference between the two. Now, when you start with the front of the cars here, you notice that they're almost identical. I mean, the design is practically the same. But you will notice that the Model Y is about an inch taller off of the ground, so it gives you a lot more ground clearance. And overall, the footprint of the car isn't that much bigger. It's about 2 inches longer and about 3 inches wider. So it still really works for fitting in tight spaces or living in a more condensed urban environment. Now, when you come to the height of the car, this is where you see a much bigger difference, and you see that it is almost 7 inches taller, which means the interior has a huge amount of headroom, and it gives us the back storage area, which is just, copious amounts larger than the Model 3. So as you come back, you'll notice almost everything is identical, including the door handles, which are the exact same little Jaguar push-out style. This one comes with a black trim, unlike this one, which typically has a chrome trim. This one's been chrome deleted, so it's a satin black trim and they match. Now, these windows come tinted. This one does not. I've added that. And in here you have a full glass panel, meaning there's no crossbar, which means when you're sitting in the back, you have this full, beautiful panoramic view, whereas in the Model 3, there is a crossbeam support right here, which makes it just feel a little bit tighter, a little bit more cramped. Here back in the front of the car, we have the Frunk comparison with the Model 3 and the Model Y. Now, this also I think is called a bonnet. Here in the Model 3, it's actually a decent size, but it's just very shallow. They do have these little clips here for your groceries, which is kind of a thing, I guess. But if you want to see just the difference, here's your charging bag that comes with all your Teslas. And you can see this one sticks up above that lip there, whereas over here in the Model Y, it is completely a few inches underneath even. So the Frunk is quite a bit bigger, a couple inches wider, a bit longer, but more importantly, just a lot more depth. And the interior isn't this kind of cloth, it has a more kind of rugged interior. So more room, more space, kind of the overall theme in the difference between the Y and the 3. Now on the back, again, you'll notice the design is almost identical. Now with this one has an automatic hatch. It's the boot lifts automatically, or we might call it an automatic lift gate here in the US. The Model 3 does not have that, but I have added it. So there are aftermarket ways to do that. They cost about $1,000 here in the US. So looking at it, you can see the massive difference in size between these openings, kind of the aperture of the trunk. And for someone with 2 kids like myself, that makes a huge difference in terms of what you can do, because being able to fit a stroller or beach gear or bikes or any of that stuff is just really, really hard given the size of the opening. Now, it is a deep trunk and it works perfectly fine for a lot of people's use cases, but obviously you can see how much bigger and how just much more spacious this car is. The space here is just huge. I mean, I can reach all the way in and be able to still have room for things. The rear seats do recline, giving you even more room as a passenger. And I happen to have 2 car seats here, but I can still put this middle seat all the way down and shove longer items through. Now, if I need more kind of cubic volume, I can lift up the false bottom, and under that I have a really large, kind of really big space that I can put items in, as well as there's a second false bottom here, which is kind of for smaller items such as the charge port or maybe a camera or something else that you can just kind of pop in there. So tons and tons of room here. When you put all the seats down, you could camp in there. Just copious amounts of room in the Model Y compared to the Model 3. So the interior of the Model Y is practically identical to the Model 3. Everything is controlled from the main screen here, which is the exact same size. One upgrade, which is kind of nice, is there's a wireless charging pad in the center console here. That may be coming to the Model 3 soon as well. I wouldn't be surprised if it's already kind of in production. But you pop your phone down, and if it has wireless charging, it just starts going. You can close that. Other than that, maybe you're sitting up a little bit higher, but pretty much the driving experience and the interior feel is identical to the Tesla Model 3. The one I'm sitting in now is an all-wheel drive Tesla Model Y with the long-range battery. So what that gets you is about 316 miles of range with the EPA estimate, which is a tremendous amount, and it costs just under $50,000 US currently. Now, when I bought it, it was $3,000 more than that, and if you want to add on other features like the rims, which I did here, which are the $2,000 Uber turbines, or if you want full self-driving, it can really creep up. So the full self-driving, when I got it, was $7,000 in addition. Taxes all in, I paid about $68,000 for this vehicle. So here in the States, when it comes to charging, the Tesla supercharger network is bountiful. It's everywhere, especially where I'm at right now in Southern California. Now, there are different kinds of superchargers that are available. This one here is called an urban supercharger, where it's kind of made for tighter spaces. It charges up to 72 kilowatts. The regular kind of V2 one, they call it, is up to 150 kilowatts. And this car at a V3 supercharger can go all the way up to 250 kilowatts, which is insane. So when you actually plug in, depending on your state of charge, you will be able to get almost all the way full, maybe 80% in about 30 to 40 minutes at a charger like this. At the other ones, the 250 kilowatt charger, you get up to plus 1,000 miles per hour. So it starts off really, really high and then drops down after that, giving you 80% charge in about 15 to 20 minutes, depending on where you started. Now, at a charger like this, which is in a busy area at a shopping mall, what Tesla does is they actually limit you to 80%. So you get this little warning on the screen saying that they've automatically limited your limit, how much charge you can accept to 80%, so that way you don't sit here for hours upon hours. Now, if you do need more than that, that's totally fine. You just have to manually adjust it, and you can also do it from the app. So they're trying to minimize the amount of time people just sit here, but if you do need that, let's say you're on a road trip, it's totally fine and totally easy to adjust. Now, if you're looking to find where a charger is, Teslas all have this built in, and you can zoom in or zoom out on the map and just see exactly where they all are near you. You can click on them, you can see exactly how many chargers are available at that station, and even the charging fees and if there's an idle fee. So it's very easy here in Southern California to find Tesla chargers. All the superchargers are out there, but also if you click on the little lightning bolt icon, you can see destination chargers as well. And Tesla is now integrating with PlugShare and other providers, listing all of the destination chargers or all the EV chargers out there that are possible for you to use. So built into the car, you have basically everything you need to find a charger and get set up with it. So inside of the car, everything, literally everything, is controlled by the main screen. Here is where you obviously do your navigation. It's where you see your speed. You can control different elements there. You can turn your wipers on and off. You can bring up the backup camera. You can look at your charging status, and you have the voice control. All the newer Teslas have the ability to do these really complex voice controls, which allow you to literally do anything you can do with your hands by touching it just by a voice command. So it's really advanced and really feature rich. You can have it integrated with your calendar. You can see that today what we're doing. The camera, you can look at the energy graphs, all that kind of stuff. The web browser, and then of course all the little fun tools here and toys, the little Easter egg type things. The heated seats are controlled by it, the air conditioning, the frost vent and all that, as well as all your settings. This is how you get to all your settings here. So this is where you have your autopilot stuff, and you can control the amount of things that you want the car to do. Sometimes you want less of this, sometimes you want more, and it depends on what option you choose. It is nice to have a very clean interior, but from my own personal experience, it sometimes would be nice just to have a manual vent for this. I can just reach down without having to look. Having to click in here and adjust these things it can be kind of tricky. So, it's cool, but it's take it or leave it. It's not going to be for everyone. And that's essentially how you control everything in the car, with the exception of the very only button here, which is the hazard button. This is the hazard, which is a federally mandated thing here in the US. Otherwise, I'm sure they would have got rid of that button as well. So the screen is the big star of the show when it comes to the interior. Another cool feature for the Tesla Model Y is that they all come with Sentry Mode. Sentry Mode is a security system that uses all 8 cameras of the car along with the ultrasonic sensors to detect if someone's trying to break in, or maybe someone touched your bumper or something as they were pulling out next to you. Now, all of that footage starts recording as soon as it notices any disruption, and it saves it to a local USB drive that you just plug in inside of the center console. When a Sentry Mode event occurs inside of the car, you get a notification. That notification allows you to just tap on it and see exactly what the event was. So I tap on that, and it brings up the most recent event, which is me talking into it. You can click around and see the different angles, what's going on. Nice shorts. And you can scroll through and see all of the previous events. So for example, here's me talking in front of it there. And you can see also the red dot shows you exactly where it marked the event that occurred. Whatever it was, where someone touched the car or got super close, you could really just kind of zone in on what it is. It gives you about a 10-minute clip. So it's really helpful to have that red dot there. And one of the other unique features about the full self-driving package is the ability to summon your car, which is simply by pushing a button on your phone, setting up a target, your car will pull out of a parking space and come find you. Imagine if it's raining outside and you want your car to come meet you outside of a restaurant, it will do exactly that. So overall, I hope that gave you a good look at what the Model Y is all about. If you're familiar with the Model 3, the Model Y will be just like your car that you've had for a long time already. It's so similar. The differences are very minor when it comes to the driving and the overall feel. The big differences, of course, are the space in the back, the boot, the automatic lift gate, and riding up just a little bit higher. So I think it is probably the perfect Tesla for a lot of people out there, certainly here in the US.
I think we can all agree that was very comprehensive coverage of not just the Tesla Model Y, but a good taste of the Tesla experience. So thank you so much, Ben. And for more from Ben and from us here in Europe, please consider supporting us on Patreon or YouTube membership. The links are all beneath this video. So please subscribe to Fully Charged. And as always, if you have been, thank you for watching.